VidDevo Bible, Genesis 1:18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw it was good. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. We don't choose to add something to what God has said. If I told you something, and you went to tell someone else what I had said, I would expect that you would tell them what I had said. What God has said in Genesis 1:18 is that He spoke and said that it was to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw it was good. He didn't say more, He didn't say less. But in Genesis 1:18, this is what He said: to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. If I was telling you a story and I said, in the beginning, God. Oh, wait a minute. That is a story that I am telling. And it is a story that God has given to us by speaking to those whom He had spoken to in the beginning, and they heard at the word of the Lord spoken to them, and they repeated that to their children and their children's children. And in time they recorded it for us in parchments and in scrolls, and eventually into what we have as the Word of God. And what they did and what they heard in that time when God spoke to them was in Genesis 1:18, God said, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. God doesn't say that He divides the light from the darkness. He says, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. A lot of times people say, well, why so many ands? If I was speaking to you in a storybook form, I would say in Western civilization and culture, a long, long time ago in a faraway land. Now, normally, you don't use the word long, long time ago. You would say long ago, or a long time ago. But you wouldn't say a long, long time ago unless you were telling a story. Or if I said to you the famous line that says, once upon a time. Well, that's an interesting phrase too, once upon a time. It's not really completely accurate. It's more of a colloquial grammar, old English type of statement. But you know that if I say once upon a time, you're going to hear a story. And it's in conversational form. So whenever you read in the Word of God, you should think about God speaking that God has said. And what God has said in Genesis 1:18 is, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. The ands are those things that is just like saying once upon a time. It's just like saying to a little children, and to rule over the day, and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Oftentimes children will accept what they're told if you just tell them, instead of them asking why, and you've heard that children ask why. But if you have the and you're telling them the story, then they're listening to the story. And that's what was done oftentimes in communicating what God had said, what God is saying, and what God says to us. We hear because God has said it. And as we hear, we pass it on what we have heard. Fortunately, we have in the Word of God it written down so there's no inaccuracy. What it is what God has said. And what God has said in Genesis 1:18 is very simple. Simple enough for a little child to understand. As uncomplicated as an adult to tell a little child. As easy to be understood that no one has to argue apologetically about it. No one has to debate it. No one has to question it. No one has really the right to change what God has said, because God has said for Himself and answered all questions and objections to what was going on in creation. Because in Genesis 1:18, God said, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw it was good. It would not be good for man to change what God has said. It would not be good for man to take away what God has said. It is good for man to repeat what God has said, to state it as a fact, to relate it as information, to tell it to your generations as they come after you, to repeat it and to put it in the mindset of the ears that are hearing of your children and your wife, and your family and your friends and your neighbors, even as he says later on as we'll get to it. But the most important part that we do at VidDevo Bible is we always relate it back to what hath God said? God said in Genesis 1:18, and to rule over the day and over the night and to divide the light from the darkness, and God saw that it was good. So we don't have to debate it. We don't have to look for another translation. We don't have to Greek it. We don't have to Hebraize it. We don't have to get into the Hebrew or the Greek. It says what it means. It's real easy to understand, so it means what it says, and God is speaking it to us. So we know what he said. We understand it because it's very clear in Genesis 1:18 what it means. It means, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And now you've heard Genesis 1:18 from VidDevo Bible.